So what we're doing today, and so this week and for the next 2 weeks after today, are the 3 energetic effects of yoga. The understanding for this came from the Vini yoga tradition and from Ayurveda, if you know what those are. If you don't worry about it. But they do come from somewhere. I'm not just making this stuff up. So the reason why you would want to know the energetic effects is so that you can therapeutically apply your yoga practice to whatever you're feeling at a given time. So if you're feeling depressed and lethargic, maybe even apathetic, there are certain practices you can do that to help kind of move your energy up, to help awaken you, to enliven you a little bit. Conversely, if you're feeling restless or you have a frenetic mindset or you are kind of feeling frazzled and fried, there are exercises or yoga practices you can do that kind of bring you back down. And then there's a third one, which is great to do if you don't know what to do or if you're feeling great already. And so we're going to talk about each of these and experience each of these over the next 3 classes. Okay? I love talking about and thinking about the energetic effects because when I first started studying yoga years ago, and so when I was just like a baby Jerry in yoga teacher training 12 years ago, this was the primary concept we used to sequence classes. You had to know where you were going energetically. So I feel, especially as we're all practicing from home more often now, it's good for you to have this information about how you can apply your yoga practice to your current state. So I have a lot of classes online. There's a lot of classes that are available through many, many websites online. How do you pick which practice you want to do other than you like a certain flow? You can actually make it quite therapeutic for yourself. So that's the overview of why energetic effects. The one we're going to focus on tonight is the calming and grounding energetic effect, or what's called Langhana. So Langhana practices tend to be introverting. They tend to be lunar in nature or moon practices, calming, grounding, connecting to the earth. In your body, Langhana practices tend to work with like deep hip work, forward bending, lengthening of the back body, a dropping of the chin, things that just, it's all this like inward turning type of energy. So this is calming, this is grounding, this is stabilizing. This doesn't mean that's always going to be an easy class. We don't want to make one easy, one hard, or vice versa. But to know that the energetic intention of tonight's class and of Langhana is help you to reduce energy. So when would you want to practice this? In the evening? If you're trying to go to bed, if you suffer from insomnia, these are great practices to do. After experiencing significant trauma, this is a great one to do collectively or singularly. What other times would you want to do Langhana? If you're overstimulated, if you just feel restless in your body, in your mind, these are practices that you would want to do. Okay? So again, physically, these are going to be like forward bending, inward turning postures, tend to be slower in movement. With the breath, because it's not just physical posturing, this actually has to do with working with the body, working with the breath, and working with the mind through meditation. So with the breath, you induce Langhana through slowing down the breath and focusing on the exhalation and any holds after exhalations. This is helped induced by the breath in the belly, anything that really supercharges the parasympathetic nervous system, so the calming, grounding, rest, and digest response. Yeah, and then the meditations that would help induce Langhana are lunar practices again, earth meditations, anything that makes you feel grounded to the floor or to the earth, and any awareness of the body. When we're frenetic in our minds, when we're spinning, we tend to be not really identified with this form. So anything that helps to bring us back to this, okay? So that's what we'll focus on tonight. And then next week, we'll focus on Brahmana, which is the more solar lifting energy. And then the last week, we'll focus on Samavriti, which is the more balancing energetic effect. Sound good? Okay. Sorry if I was that was a lot. I really love these concepts because it makes so much sense of the yoga practice. And honestly, you might understand more about why and how I sequence the way that I do after experiencing this. So let's go ahead and get started, sitting comfortably, however that looks for you. Relax your shoulders down your back and feel the crown of the head lift toward the ceiling. And take a deep breath in and out. Allowing the mouth to close. Let's breathe through the nostrils. And as the outer eyes close, the inner eyes open. And bring your awareness to your breath at your throat. And then softly constrict the back of your throat, the glottis, slightly, to make the breath audible on your exhalation. Ujjayi pranayama, the audible breath. Now, if you've practiced this with me before, sometimes we have made the breath audible on inhale. For tonight's practice, for Langhana, I'd like us to just make the breath audible on exhalation. Inhaling quietly, exhale audibly. And what you may notice as you continue this breathing rhythm, inhaling quietly and exhaling audibly, is that through the constriction of the throat on exhale, it forces you to slow down the exhalation. Allow that to be the case. The inhale is shorter than the exhale. The exhale extended through the slow, audible constriction of the throat. And as I mentioned earlier, when we slow down the exhalation, that helps to induce that Langhana energetic effect, that calming, grounding effect. And then if you found that your mind has been wandering or if it's been frenetic today, the audible exhale helps to draw the mind into the body through both the sound of the breath and through the sensation of the back of the throat being constricted. It helps ground you in your body here and now. So let's continue for just a little bit longer. Let's do one more breath. And then release the techniques. Even with just those few moments of extending the exhale audibly, you might feel that start of that grounding experience. So stay with that sensation as we chant the sound Om 3 times. You can join me or you can just listen. Deep breath in to begin. Bring your palms to your heart and lower your chin and just honor yourself as you are in this moment. Body, breath, energy, and mind. It's in service of that we'll practice tonight. So go ahead and rub the palms together, creating heat. And take the warmed palms over your eyes. And brush back over the top of your head and down your neck, bringing yourself back to the room. Good. So already we're starting to feel that downward, that calming movement of energy. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, then I promise we'll start, that if you've read my book, Essential Pranayama, this is basically the basis of a lot of the work that we do in this book. Calming pranayama, energizing pranayama, it's all about these three techniques, or these three ideas. So our first posture we'll do is butterfly pose. So please bring the soles of the feet together. You can continue to sit on a folded blanket or a cushion or a block. And you're just going to gently hold on to the ankles or the shins here. If you have really long arms, you might be able to hold on to the feet, but I don't want us to forward fold. I want you to stay tall on the spine. And then just begin to flap the knees and breathe. This is just helping to loosen up the hip flexors, letting them know that we're gonna do some work there tonight. This is gonna be a hips class. Now check in with your breath. Sometimes even when we do subtle movement like this, the breath starts to change. It starts to maybe become erratic, less steady. And if you'd like to, because we're gonna keep doing this for about 30 more seconds, if you'd like to, you can bring back in that audible exhale. Just flapping these butterfly wings. We're not gonna take off or anything, but we're just drying them out. Just a few more breaths. Good. And then relax the movement. Take your feet flat to the floor. And if you are sitting on a prop, go ahead and just move that off to the side for now. Good. And then have your feet flat on the floor, about a little bit wider than your shoulders, maybe about shoulder width apart, depending on, I guess, how broad your shoulders are. And you want your feet far enough away from you that they're about to pop up off the floor, but actually back them up a bit because you want them flat on the floor for this. Now, it's good to remember to keep the feet this wide apart through this exercise. So inhale, drop the knees to the left, rock up onto the hip. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, go the other way. Exhale, back to center. And then just keep going from side to side, loosening up the hips and breathing. If you've been in a hips class with me before, one of my favorite sayings is that the hips don't like to be rushed. So because we're going to be working with them, we're going to spend some time really warming them up tonight. So we've done butterfly already, which is kind of more just like the up and down movement with the hip flexors. And this is more rotational in that hip socket, from side to side. It's also kind of a massage for your seat. So if that's feeling good, just roll with it from side to side. Now, something that can happen here sometimes is that we start to slouch with the upper body. While that might feel good now, it's actually not that helpful. So try to sit up as tall as you can, lifting with the heart. Let's do a couple more. Going as slowly or quickly as you feel called to do. Good, then come back to center. All right, we can move a little bit of energy in along in a class. So go ahead and extend your legs forward. Good. Now, if you want to, you can sit on a folded blanket here, especially since we're just getting warmed up. The hamstrings and the lower back might not be that warm yet. And have your feet about hip distance apart. And take your arms up by your ears and relax the shoulders. Now flex your feet, pulling the toes back. Take a deep breath in, feel length in the spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Bring the heart about halfway forward. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, fold about halfway forward. Inhale, back up. Let's keep going. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Now, if you feel like you can go further, but don't push it. Again, we're just getting started. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. If you like that audible exhale, you can, of course, bring it in. Just a couple more times. And then exhale, go to your furthest point and relax the arms down by your legs. Good. Breathing here for a moment, keep the feet flexed, pulling the toes towards you, back of the legs lengthening. And 2 more breaths. And then inhale, extend your arms forward, lift with the lower back, coming back up to a tall seat, and relax the arms on down. Good. Continuing our warm up, we're going to come onto our backs, please. Let's go ahead and come to lay down. Hug your knees into your chest when you get there. All right. So keep your right knee drawn into your chest. Go ahead and extend the left leg down to the floor. Good. Feeling this gentle stretch in the hip here. And then please hold behind the right knee with both hands. Flex the right foot. Flex the left foot too. Flex both feet. Inhale, extend the right heel toward the ceiling, pulling the toes back. And exhale, bring the knee into the chest. Inhale, extend. And exhale, bend. A couple more. Good. Extend the leg up. Pull the toes back. And let's just stay here for just a few breaths, continuing to hold behind the leg, keeping the right foot flexed. Good. And then bend the right knee into your chest and extend the right leg down. Let's do the other side. Just bring the knee in toward your chest, the left knee that is, and just hold here for a breath or two. That gentle stretch in the hip. Flexing both feet. Both legs are engaged here. And then hold behind the left knee with both hands. And about 5 times. Inhale, extend the left heel toward the ceiling, pulling the toes back. And exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend. And exhale, bend. few more times on your own. Good. As you extend the leg this time, go ahead and leave it extended. Pull the toes back. Foot is flexed. Breathing length into the back of that left leg. Good. One more breath. And then exhale, bring the knee into the chest. And then relax the left leg on down. Good. All right, bring both feet flat to the floor, please. Heels underneath your knees, about hip distance apart. Let's do some bridge rolls. With your inhale, lift your arms overhead and pick up the hips, reaching the pelvis toward the ceiling. And exhale, release the arms and hips back down. Good. Again, hips lift, arms all the way overhead, knuckles on the floor above you. Exhale, release your arms back down to your side. Let's do a few more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Good. As you come into bridge pose this time, go ahead and stay. Arms overhead, hips pressing toward the sky. Good. Deep breath in. And exhale, release the arms and hips on down. Good. All right, so from here, please cross your right ankle, center of your left thigh. Right ankle crossing center of the left thigh, and flex the right foot. Pull the toes back. This will make sure that we stay safe in the joints. It protects the ankle and the knee joint. Your arms can stay down by your side for this. Inhale, press the left foot into the floor and lift your hips into the air, coming into half bridge. And exhale, release the hips on down. Let's keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. A few more times. Good. As you come into half bridge this time, press up as high as you can, but allow that activation to come from the left side of the body, the left glute, the left quad, and allow the right hip to relax a bit. Breathe. Press up to your highest point, inhale. And exhale, release the hips down. Keep the leg crossed. Keep it where it's at. And then draw the left knee in toward your chest. Good. Your right hand can reach between the legs, and you can hold behind the left thigh with both hands, encouraging but not forcing that left knee in toward your chest. Keep the right foot flexed, and let's breathe here. Actually, we'll do more than that. Let's breathe with that audible Ujjayi exhale. Now again, the hips don't like to be rushed, so we're going to stay here for a little bit longer. You can just breathe, especially that audible exhale. When we get uncomfortable, it sometimes triggers us into our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response. And that audible exhale helps to bring us out of that response so we can stay longer. That tension in the hip can be relieved. Good. All right. Now be careful. Release the left leg down. and then uncross. Just feel the difference between the two sides of the body, especially from the hips downward. And then we're gonna go ahead and balance that out. With the right foot flat on the floor, knee bent, go ahead and bring the left ankle center of the right thigh, flexing the left foot back. Again, helping to protect the joints. Arms by your side, and about 5 times we'll do this half bridge. So inhale, pick up the hips, and exhale, put them down. Inhale, pick up the hips, and exhale, put them down. A few more times. Keeping the left foot flexed. And then coming into the pose this time, press the hips up and stay, activating strongly through the right side of the body, especially the right glute. Relax the left glute. And breathe. One more breath. Press up to your highest point with this inhale. And then exhale, release the hips down. Keep the leg crossed. Then we'll come into that second posture. So bringing the right knee in towards your chest, reach between the legs to the left hand, and then both hands holding behind the right thigh. Begin to guide the right knee in toward your chest. Now only go as far as you can to the point where you start to feel sensation, which for some of us might not take much movement, and that's fine. And stay and breathe at that point. Keep the left foot flexed again. And let's use that audible exhale. Taking our time as we release tension in this hip joint. And allowing that slow, audible exhale to soothe the nervous system. Let's stay for one more breath. Then carefully release the right foot to the floor and uncross the legs. Good. We're going to do a few more exercises here on our back. Just long enough. We want to be on the earth. We want to connect to the ground. So with your feet right where they are at for bridge pose, heels underneath the knees, about hip distance apart, we're going to move from here. So walk your feet away from your body about 6 inches, and then take your feet as wide apart as your yoga mat. Your arms can rest out to the side. This will be very similar to an exercise we did at the beginning of class. So inhale, drop the knees to the right. Exhale, bring the knees back to center. And inhale, knees to the left. And exhale back to center. And let's just keep that going. Inhale to a side. Exhale to center. Inhale to a side. Exhale to center. Keep going. And if you'd like to, you can turn the chin the opposite direction the knees are going, just helping to provide any relief that's going on for anything that's going on in the neck. It's also quite rhythmic. Inhaling to a side, Exhaling to center. One more time on each side. And as you bring the knees back to center, go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Good. And bring the soles of the feet together in butterfly and hold on to the shins or the ankles. Again, some of you might be able to hold on to the pinky edge of the feet as well. Good. Getting settled into this version of butterfly. I'm going to change it all up on you. So a lot of times when we come into this posture, we are pulling the feet in toward the groin. I'd like to challenge you a little bit and actually have you take your feet toward the ceiling so that the feet are right above your sternum or thereabouts. And then begin to draw the feet downward towards your body. It's a different sensation. Let's breathe with it. Now, if you'd like a little bit more challenge here, and only if you'd like a little bit more challenge here, you can think about rolling your lower back down to the floor as you pull the feet in toward your body. Breathe. And then from here, we're going to transition into happy baby pose. So take your feet into each hand respectively and take the feet wider, heels pointing toward the ceiling. Your knees are wide of your armpits and draw the feet downward. Good. Now, just like the last posture, your lower back wants to curl up. So think about grounding the lower back to the floor as you pull feet down, knees towards your armpits, and breathing into anything you might be feeling right now. But keep the feet pointing toward the ceiling. Don't take them forward. Keep them pointing upward. Good. All right. So from happy baby, bring the feet together into butterfly again, and then take the pinky edge of the feet down to the floor. So we're in reclined butterfly now. Pinky edge of the feet on the floor, feet together, arms by your side, and we're going to do a little bit of butterfly bridge. Lots of bridge poses tonight. So pressing the pinky edge of the feet into the floor, go ahead and lift the hips, pressing that up as high as you can. And then exhale, release the hips on down. Inhale, lift the hips back up. And exhale, release the hips on down. Let's do a few more. And then inhale, come into the pose. Stay up. And we're going to keep the hips lifted as we do this next movement. So take a deep breath in. With your exhale, squeeze your knees toward one another. It's okay if the feet break apart. Inhale, take the knees wide. Keep the hips raised. Exhale, squeeze the knees toward one another. Inhale, take them wide. We'll do that 3 more times. Exhale, squeeze them together. Inhale wide. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale wide. One more time. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Keep them moving toward one another. Press the hips up. Stay for 2 breaths. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, take the knees wide and release the hips down and extend your legs forward. Let's just take a breath or 2 in Shavasana. All right. So taking your right arm all the way overhead, go ahead and roll to your right side. And let's come on up to a seat. All right. Sometimes you're not necessarily aware of the energetic effect as you're doing the postures. But what I noticed when I came up was kind of like movement downward, like a grounding as I sat up. That's Langhana kicking in. All right. So I'm going to sit on a blanket because we're going to do some more hip stuff, but we're going to do it here. Is that what we're doing? Actually, it's not. Sorry. I don't usually sequence my classes ahead of time, but for this one, I tried to prepare myself. What we're going to do is we're going to do some lunges. So let's go ahead and come onto hands and knees. Sorry for the false start. We're going to come back to this later, I promise. One thing to note, because we're going to be doing some lunges, you're welcome to have a blanket underneath your knees, especially if you have bony knees like I do. Take care of yourself. All right, hands underneath your shoulders and knees beneath the hips. Inhale, look forward, feel the tailbone lift. Exhale, go back to child's pose. Then inhale back up to hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, since it's the first down dog of class, let's just go ahead and stay here for a few breaths, walking the dog out if you'd like to, or just staying static. We've warmed up a lot more than we normally do before we got to this pose tonight. So just notice if it feels different, if your access to downward facing dog has changed. Good. And inhale, float down onto hands and knees, and step your right foot between your hands. Good. Now we're going to do some rocking lunges. So with your inhale, go ahead and sweep your arms coming up into our crescent lunge. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor, straighten the right leg, pull the toes toward you so you feel the back of the leg lengthen. Then inhale, rock forward, lift the arms up. And then exhale, hands down, straighten the leg, pull the toes back. Let's just keep going. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hands down, straighten the leg. Now let's start to add the audible exhale. Which means that your movement on exhale is going to have to slow down as well. Don't feel rushed here. Let's do two more. With your next inhale, rock forward and take the right leg back. We'll come into downward facing dog. Just to help us adjust from that exercise, feel what's happening on the right side of the body, especially in the hip joint and the leg. And then we'll balance that out with side number two. Floating down onto hands and knees, bring the left foot between the hands. Good. You know this already. Inhale, lift the arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor, straighten the leg, pull the toes back. Inhale, rocking up. Open the heart. And exhale, bowing down and extending the leg. Really pull the toes back on the left leg as you fold. Now, if you haven't done so already, add the audible exhale here, helping to induce that Langhana effect and also to slow down the exhalation. Take your time with that exhale. Let's do just a few more breaths, okay? Last round. And this time, as you inhale, just rock forward. Take the left leg back, and let's come into downward facing dog once again. And then from down dog, go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet, coming into Uttanasana, the standing forward fold. Press palms to shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold down. And inhale, roll yourself all the way up to standing, single vertebrae at a time. Chin is the last to lift. And be aware of that Langhana energetic effect, calming, steadying quality. All right, taking a deeper breath, bringing your awareness back. All right. The only reason why I brought you up to standing is because I want to do a twist. And then we're just going to come back down to the floor again. So this is our crescendo as far as like standing up. So go ahead and take the feet about hip distance apart. And we're going to practice chair pose. And I'd like you to keep your feet and knees apart for today's practice. Usually do the chair pose with your knees and feet together. Step outside the box. We'll do our best here. So bring the palms to the heart. Feel the heart lift, inhale. Then exhale, just bend the knees, sink down into chair. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, sink down again. Moving dynamically so the body knows where we're going before we get there. Inhale, standing up. Exhale, sinking in. Inhale, lift. This time we're gonna do a little bit more. So go ahead and sink on in, stay. And take your right elbow across to your left knee or thigh. Now, if it doesn't make it all the way there, you can bring the right elbow to the inside of the right knee and you can do the work here. But if you can, take it all the way across. Press the palms together, inhale. And then exhale, roll the left shoulder back. Look up if you can. If you can't, just look forward or even down. Twisting chair pose. Keep the hips sinking. Some people like to straighten the legs. Don't straighten the legs, keep them bent. Breathe. Now keep the knees bent, come back through center. You guessed it, we're gonna try the other side. You ready? If you need to straighten the legs before this, go ahead and do so. But if you can, just take the left elbow across the outside of the right knee or to the inside of the left knee. Good, take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll the right shoulder back, twist. Keep the knees bending. Looking up if you can. Keep the hips sinking, we're almost there. And keep the knees bent, go ahead and inhale, unwind, and straighten the legs. Whew. And relax the arms. Feel sensation for a moment. Good. Deeper breath. Okay. Feet still stacking underneath the hips. Go ahead and lift your arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms down. We're going to make that more now. Inhale, lift the arms up and roll onto the balls of your feet. And then exhale, gently roll back down. Let's add the audible breath. Slowly down. Okay, let's do a few more. That slow exhale, creating steadiness. In this case, steadiness and strength. We're going to stay up this time. Go ahead and lift. Stay on the balls of your feet. Bring your palms to your heart. Inhale. Exhale, start to bend the knees. Just going all the way down. Elevator going down. Until you're sitting on your heels. Now you can stay here if you'd like to. I'm going to invite you into another version of this. You can take the knees wide. I'm still on the balls of my feet. And bring the chest parallel to the ground. You can stay here if you'd like. If you'd like to, you can extend your arms forward, parallel to the ground, and breathe. And bring the palms to the heart. Lift the chest. Close the legs. And release onto your bum. Oh, that's more fun than just saying come to the floor. All right. So now we're going to do that thing that I was attempting to do earlier before I forgot that we had to do lunges. So for this one, you can sit on one blanket. You can sit on two blankets. We're going to get deep into the hips. And so I want to make sure that you feel stable. And I'll do this facing the camera so you can see what's happening. All right. So for this one, we're working our way toward fire log pose, if you know what that is. If you don't, surprise, you're going to find out. But we're going to do one exercise before we get there, just to make sure the hips are nice and open for this exercise. So go ahead and extend the left leg forward, straight out in front of you. And then with the right knee bending, you're going to take the right ankle just above the left knee, okay? And then flex both feet. Again, flexing the foot helps protect the ankle and the knee joint. And then just sit up tall here. Sit up tall. And depending on how much access you have in your hips, you might feel a lot here and you might not feel much at all. But we're going to work through it systematically. One thing you might be able to do is place your right hand on your right knee, not pushing it downward, but pushing it forward. Just gently, not too much pressure. And you'll start to feel something down into the hip flexor here. Good. Staying for a breath or two. And as I progress from this point, if what I ask you to do next feels like it's too much, just stay at the previous point. So we move to the next stage of this one and it's too much, just come back to here, okay? So from here, you're going to bend the left knee, bringing the left foot flat to the floor, drawing this leg in toward your chest. Again, keep the foot flexed. You might have to adjust your seat so that you can sit up tall. And if you weren't feeling something in the hips before, I'm sure you're starting to feel it now. Again, the right hand can be placed on top of the right knee, just guiding it forward, not downward so much. And breathe. Keep the heart lifting. If you notice your lower back rounding, that means that you need to be sitting on a blanket or a block or a yoga bolster. It's a prop I didn't mention earlier. If you need a bolster, you could use that too. Stay here if you'd like. If you'd like to take this a step further, you can take your right hand and just kind of hold over the top of the right foot and lift it up and cradle it with your left arm, okay? The left leg extends down to the floor, or for some of you, you might want to just cross it underneath you. It really depends on how much access you have here. If you make it to this point, you want to keep the foot lifting. It's easy to drop it here and then you come out of the hip, but keep it raised. And you're kind of like you're holding a baby. You know, just rocking a baby. You can rock it too. You can roll from just wiggle from side to side a bit. And naming my own experience, I can't say what you feel, but this feels pretty good to that right hip joint. Keep the heart lifting and keep breathing. Aren't you glad we did the lunges before this? I am. We'll stay for another breath or two. Good. Now, before we come out, take the right hand either over the right foot, or if you'd like to, I like to hold on to the big toe sometimes, and just extend the right leg forward and sit up as tall as you can. Okay, so this leg is coming out at about a 45-degree angle. My heart is lifting. And then carefully release that leg down. I always like to take a mental screenshot of what's happening on both sides. My right leg is definitely more open. I can feel like there's more circulation coming down into the leg. And it makes you want to do the other side. So let's do that. With your right leg extending forward, starting at the beginning, go ahead and bend the left knee, flex the left toes or pull the foot back, and take the ankle just above the right knee. Getting started here, you can place the left hand over the left knee, guiding it forward, not downward. And let's find that breath we learned earlier. Now again, every posture past here is an invitation. You can definitely just stay where you're at. If you want to take this further, you'll bend the right knee, bring the foot flat to the floor, drawing the leg up in toward your chest. Try to sit tall and try to breathe, especially with the lower back. When we work asymmetrically like this, we tend to notice where the asymmetries in our bodies are. This hip for me is a lot tighter than the first side I'm noticing right now. So if it might be easier for you on this side, it might feel harder for you on this side, just notice it. It doesn't mean that one is bad or one is good. It just, one's tighter. It might mean you need to take more time before you progress to the next stage. But when you're ready for that next stage, you'll take the left hand over the left foot, lift it up and cradle it. Okay, right leg again can either extend straight forward or you can bring the leg inside, bending the knee. Whichever version you do, sit up tall, keep the foot lifting, don't drop it down, that brings you out of it. Keep the foot lifting, cradling like a baby, and then you can rock the baby. And breathe. This is why we did all that hip work earlier, so we could do this. And fire log, but this feels good to me. Rocking from side to side here. You agree with that sentiment, that this is an enjoyable experience. Breathe with it anyway. And stay for just a little bit longer. Whichever stage of this posture you've gotten to, it's not a race. Now for the last posture, you can take the left hand over the left foot, or again, you can grab the big toe if you'd like to, and just extend it forward. Stay lifted in the heart. And again, my leg is shooting forward at about a 45-degree angle from the floor. Deep breath in, and exhale, carefully release on down. Okay, now we're ready for fire log pose. Now, the way that I'll teach this tonight is for you to do whichever side is going to be your easiest side first. That way, mostly that you don't feel discouraged by this posture. So the way to find out what side to do first, and it'll be different for everybody, is to cross your legs without thinking about it. What's your normal cross of your legs? Just go into that right now. Good. So the leg that is on the bottom or closest to your body is going to be the leg that is on the bottom first here. And so for me, I have my right leg tucked behind my left leg. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend my left leg out to the side, get it out of the way. And then I'm going to bring my right shin parallel to the front of my mat. So it's not a normal cross of the legs like we do for meditation. It's actually taking it away from the body quite substantially. Again, a good measure here is to have the shin parallel to the edge or front of your mat. And then from here, you're going to bend the left knee and stack the ankle directly on top of the knee. This is why you might want to be sitting on a blanket or a cushion or a block here, maybe a couple blocks, depending on how tight your hips are. One thing you'll notice first when you get here is that there's might be some space between the knee and the foot. That's fine. Just stay. Let's just breathe. I do recommend keeping both feet flexed this whole time. That's, again, going to help protect the joints, which is important if you like to walk sometimes or, not have pain. And you also want to stay lifting with the chest here. Heart lifting. Your left hand, or I guess depends on whichever leg is on top, sorry. Whatever leg is on top, that hand can rest on top of the knee, again, guiding it forward more than downward. If it helps to close your eyes, go ahead and do so. And if you haven't done so already, engage Ujjayi Pranayama on exhale, the audible breath on exhale. Now stay here if you'd like to. If you feel like you have more access in the hips, you can draw the heart forward as if you were going to bow over the legs. Some of you might be able to fold all the way forward here, and I'll leave that up to you. But for the rest of us, we'll stay up a little bit more. Again, not putting too much pressure on the top knee. It's just a gentle weight. It's not a forcing. And the hands might even come next to the legs as you draw your heart toward them. Now, if you are folding, keep the spine long or flat. We don't want excessive curving of the upper back here. Shoulders down the back, the heart is leading, not the head. Sounds philosophical, doesn't it? Lead with the heart, not the head. One more breath. And if you are folding, go ahead and sit back up. And take your time as you uncross and just feel. Okay. So as I mentioned before, that was your easy side. So let's see what the second side feels like. And me calling it the easy side, that's my assumption based on the way that you sit. It could very well be the other way around, but in general, the way you habitually sit is going to be the easier way to do this. So whatever leg was on top last time is now on bottom. So for me, it's going to be my left leg. And again, the shin is about parallel to the edge or the front of my mat. And then I'm going to bend the right knee and stack the ankle on top of the knee, and the knee floats, at least for me, over the ankle. Good. All right, let's breathe. Whatever leg is on top, that hand can rest on top of the knee, guiding it forward, not down. Heart is lifting. And though I didn't mention it on the first side, one thing you might notice the longer you sit in this posture is that the space between your thigh or your knee and your ankle shortens. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, but keep relaxing, keep breathing. Now again, you can stay right here if you'd like to. No need to go any further. But if you want to, you can think about hinging at the hips and just drawing the heart forward. If you need some stability to do that, you can bring the hands down next to the legs. Again, only do so if you're not rounding in the upper back. No nose diving here. Keep the spine long. And because we've done so much to help warm up the hips tonight, you might actually find more access in this posture than you would normally think. It's okay if that's not the case, but just notice if it is. Staying for just another breath or two. Inhale, sitting up. If you're folding, and carefully uncross. Again, feel sensation. You might be aware of that Langhana energetic effect, that quality of calm or grounding. It might feel like fatigue. All right, just two more postures. Well, three because one is asymmetrical before we go to Shavasana. Go ahead and bend your right knee and take the foot across the left leg and ground it. Bring your right hand behind your back. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, take the arm across, hook the knee and twist, looking over your right shoulder and stay for 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, unwind and uncross. Let's do the other side. Left knee comes in. Go ahead and bring the foot across and place your left hand behind your back. Right arm lifts up. Exhale, take the arm across, hook the knee and twist. Again, staying for about 3 breaths. And then inhale, unwind. Take both legs forward. Sit up tall, reach the arms up, inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Go ahead and fold over the legs. And the arms can rest down by your legs. You can hold onto the legs. If you can grab your feet easily, you can hold onto the feet, but don't do that and strain the shoulders. It's best just to allow the shoulders to be relaxed here. Chin drops in towards your throat, the back of the neck lengthening. And let's add that audible pranayama with your exhale. Audible breathing. One more breath here. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and bring yourself up to a seat. And keep some of that inward quality as you relax down onto your back for Shavasana. Coming to lie down. And make sure that you feel comfortable as you get there. You can bring a blanket under the head. You can cover up with a blanket. You can turn down the lights in your space. Unless that light is the sun, then you just have to wait a little longer. I still make the jokes. I can't help it. Okay. If you're still making your way to Shavasana, keep moving at your own pace. When you're there, allow the eyes to close and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, feel all of the energy in your body pull toward the core of the earth. Surrendering effort, stress, tension, worry, surrendering that which you cannot control, and surrendering that which you can control. Really feeling yourself rooted to the core of the planet. And think as you rest here about that. The planet being estimated several billions of years old. It's held every experience based on this planet. It's held all the weight, all the care. Just feel how vast that support is beneath you. Even resting on the floor, beneath the floor, there is earth. Rising up from infinite depths to support you here. Strength of the ages. All allowing you to float here effortlessly. Peace, peace, peace. Please begin to take a deeper, fuller breath. And then make some gentle movements, the hands and feet, the arms and legs, gently bringing your body and awareness back. And as you're ready, go ahead and roll gently to your right side. And then transition to a seat as you feel complete here. Sitting tall once again. You can sit on a cushion or a blanket if you'd like. We'll do a short meditation. So taking a deep breath in and out. Feel your breath become steady, no longer forcing the inhale or the exhale. And feel all of the energy in your body ground toward the earth, like sediment settling to the bottom of a lake that's become suddenly still. And bring your awareness to the surface of that lake. And the surface of this lake is your mind. And the mind is calm, focused. The surface of this lake is as still as a sheet of glass. Sometimes thoughts come in and create ripples or disturbances on the surface of the lake. And all you have to do is exhale. Feel that energy ground to the earth and allow the surface to become still once again, each and every time. When another thought comes in, exhale. And when the surface of the lake, the mind is still, is able to clearly perceive and reflect everything around it. The trees, the world, the creatures that visit it. But when there are disturbances on the water, it shatters that perception into thousands of false realities. And all you have to do to come back is to exhale and see the surface of the lake become still once again. So keeping a quality of this stillness, this groundedness, this centeredness. Please take a deeper, fuller breath. Bring your palms to your heart and bow your chin, just honoring that Langhana energetic effect coursing through your system, helping you to feel calm, grounded, and hopefully a little bit more at ease. May all of your work here tonight and that effort and this practice continue to serve you. So until next time, namaste.